So compassionate leaders promote well-being. Okay, so uh, one of the ways that compassionate leaders can affect change in the organization is just through role modeling, making these principles alive in the workplace and make them the rewarded and normalized practice in the team or the organization. It's important. People perform better at work. They're in a better mood. There's less conflict. They've got better physical health, more vitality, basically better to be around. Lower levels of burnout, better physical health. They're going to show up and give more from the organization's point of view, and they're going to be happier within themselves also. Compassionate leaders also promote self-care and their role model self-care. It's really important, to not role model burnout behavior, staying back all hours, saying, oh, I was doing work on Sunday, in front of the team, so making everyone think, oh, this is what's expected of me. The leader through his or her comments and behavior sets the norms. And a compassionate leader will have awareness of this and will not want to do this to their people. So role model good self-care. Before I show the comments on this, this little model, 5-part model, it's very basic. I found it years ago on Google, but it's really, really useful. I've used it in a lot of coaching and workshops, and it's can form, the basis of a really good discussion or just a quick check and you can just put it onto your fingers, basically: sleep, exercise, social support, relaxation, nutrition, and do a quick health check on yourself, just to see where you're at. Am I sleeping well? Am I exercising? No, I haven't actually. Better get out and do that. And so you can create self-awareness, and from that self-awareness, some self-regulation. I really believe simple tools are the best. Very simple tools, especially because you'll notice with emergency signs, they're always very simple. They're very basic because stressed people need simple solutions. They're so distracted, very hard to focus. And so just generally, very uncomplicated tools are preferable. Fancy psychological tools can be great, but may not be as practical for someone who's just by themselves one day and needs to remember 5 strategies for lifting them out of a bad mood or something. Very simple solutions are always what I encourage. I can see a question there.
Yeah, there's a question.
I think it'd be definitely useful to a certain extent, meaning okay to calm down, but not showing up again could turn into being unprofessional or disrespectful. Absolutely, yeah. I think we should make our best effort to recompose ourselves and get back in there. Absolutely, yeah. There could be times where people can't, but that would be really extreme times, I think. Being compassionate is not making excuses for yourself. It's just being fair to yourself. This is the real difference. It's not making excuses. It's about being fair. And even as a leader in the treatment of other people, it's about being fair, not making excuses for people. Because making excuses for people is a bit of an insult, really. It's as though you doubt their capacity and strength. And it's great to be able to actually believe in people's capacity and strength and encourage it. Yeah, I understand, Stella, that in great fury or sorrow, absolutely. There's times and places where it's appropriate not to come back. So our physical health relies upon our self-awareness first and foremost. As I've said before, we can't begin to manage our self-care if we don't have awareness of it, awareness of our condition. So practicing self-care, just a little bunch of ideas for that. So practicing mindfulness doesn't have to be mindfulness meditation. That's not for everyone. Even the research says that mindfulness meditation is not for everyone. But there's lots of other sorts of mindful practices that you can do. A simple one is going for a walk and noticing five beautiful things. So simple. You just walk outside, you see the sun, you see the clouds, you see birds, you see trees, see people walking along looking happy together, see a beautiful car drive past, So you go outside and your mission is just to find 5 beautiful things and not think about anything else. And I guarantee you, your mood will be elevated after that experience. Or think of 5 things you're grateful for, or 3 things. Gratitude is a fantastic way to restore your mood and to get some perspective, to connect with context, the bigger picture, and to go, yeah, actually, I'm pretty lucky to be who I am, and to have the health that I've got, and to do the work that I do, and to have the friends that I've got. And that's enough. Even if I didn't get that contract or that proposal fell through, or doesn't matter, I'm okay. And for us all to be able to restore ourselves in these ways is great. And that's using mindfulness, just in different applications. Stop sometimes and just take a deep breath. So sometimes you might catch yourself on a tense day, just not breathing deep. Our lungs, on the left side of our bodies, our lungs have 2 chambers because the heart's below. On the right side, it has 3 chambers. Our lungs. And often people, when they're stressed or anxious or moving at fast pace, are just breathing in those top 2 chambers, on either side, very shallow breathing. Great to just stop and just take some deep breaths, and to make sure that you're coming back down to baseline again, not getting agitated without even realizing it. Notice the tension in your body and relax. Strive for 8 hours sleep each night. Now, I know some of these things could seem a bit idealistic, but it does say strive. It doesn't say you must. So strive. Put devices away an hour before bed. I know this is difficult too. No device for an hour after waking. Could seem impossible, but actually it's a fantastic practice. And it really helps you connect with the offline reality, and it feels good. Now, I'm getting much better at this myself. It feels good. And if the world can wait, the impulses and compulsive behavior can all just wait. And just to give yourself this sacred space in the early morning is a really good feeling. Regular exercise 3 times a week. Doesn't have to be intense. It just can be going for a walk. But it's really, really important for your body, because our bodies are meant to be moving. In ancient times, we were running around most of the time. Our bodies are built for that. And, our bodies need physical activity and exercise to have vitality. Vitality is the opposite of depression. So when you think of it, exercise is an antidepressant, it really is. And this is evidence-based also, that the physical exercise will create vitality, and vitality is the opposite of depression. Seek social connection, give and receive. So it's not just about taking, but actually giving. Giving kindness is a great way to improve our own well-being and to feel great. Drink water several times throughout the day. Stand up and walk around and stretch regularly during the working day. And it's great to have a stand up and sit down arrangement, like in your home office or at your office at work. Really makes a difference to your physical well-being. Being able to stand up for a while and work standing up, and then when your feet get sore, sit down and alternate, and also just take a complete break from working too. So these are just some good tips to take on board, and also for leaders to role model in the workplace. Compassionate leaders also promote positive relationships. So as I've been saying, and hopefully an important theme that you've noticed in this webinar is that relationships are really important, and we don't have to be superheroes, okay? Individual superheroes. Yeah, probably the best superheroes work together. So relationships are vital for our well-being. Relationships give purpose and meaning and amplify our personal strengths. We need other people to survive and thrive. We do it much better in collaboration. Giving and receiving kindness boosts our well-being and resilience. So it's not just about giving it, but the act of giving kindness really increases our well-being, mental well-being. And also, I like to mention this, that, positive relationships, make possible all the higher levels of being a human being, the higher octaves of being a human being. Things love, kindness, empathy, teamwork, altruism, cooperation, and also culminating in a positive organizational culture. These are the things that are possible when people feel safe, and when people feel supported, when people feel I'm being encouraged to be the best I can be in this environment, and I love that feeling. So people can come to work and feel that, then obviously the organization is going to get the best performance out of the people. but it probably has a bit more meaningful than that too. That you're helping people have a happy and fulfilling life. So through being a compassionate leader, you can help to facilitate this larger goal, both personally and professionally. Maybe personally, it's that you feel good to make other people have a happy and safe experience in life. Professionally, getting good outcomes for your team or your organization. And compassionate leaders practice kindness. It's the modus operandi of kindness is not being weak or giving in or kowtowing to people. Kindness is just having that consideration and fairness, presence and accommodation of somebody else's differences and struggles and the variations in their performance and personality every day. We are not computers. We're biological creatures, and we vary every single day. We're a little bit different, not only because we're growing, but because of differences in sleep and circumstances. So a compassionate leader will have that awareness that working with and dealing with, nurturing and developing human beings. And it takes that extra dimension of care and compassion and kindness and consideration to work with people in the ways that will bring out the best in people. So as my well, I was going to say good friend, but I don't know him. But as my person that I look up to, Martin Seligman here says, doing a kindness produces the single most reliable momentary increase in well-being of any exercise we have tested. So evidence-based kindness is a great way to go for bringing out these increases in well-being and safety in people and promoting positive psychological safety.
Question from Beatrice again about, I believe that genuinely giving things will come back in time. Yet, especially in big cities like Shanghai, when most people is so into the busy schedule, I sadly came to notice that so many people is focused on getting, and this turns into so many toxic relationships. Any tips on how to avoid those and any red flags that could warn us when dealing with someone that is only focused on getting?
Yeah, well, I mean, my first thought on it is be ready. Whenever we invest in another person, we need to acknowledge that we've invested in them, that we're expecting something back. And I would opt, rather than investing in people in that way, I would opt for just giving. And when you give your time and energy to someone, don't expect something back. And don't overgive and overinvest. Have your own boundaries, but actually let go of the things that you give and don't expect it back from that person. And just be careful where you if you're wanting energy back from people, or you're wanting a transaction or reciprocal relationship, it probably requires a more stable relationship to be able to count on that a bit. I mean, I have to be careful of it myself too. I just think, well, there has to be some limit after a while of giving and giving and giving. But personally, I've reached a point where I'm not thinking about what I'm getting back, because I've already got good things in my life. I feel content. I can just go inside and make myself feel good. If somebody gives me back, it's a surprise and it feels good. But I've stopped sort of keeping tabs on people, because it is an easy way to get disappointed. But we disappoint ourselves. We're disappointing ourselves by having that expectation. It's usually not the person has done something wrong. I know lots of times that I haven't gotten back to people, and it's not because I don't like them or I'm a selfish person. It's just I get overwhelmed, I get forgetful. I think we're all like this to some degree. We can all get overwhelmed and be forgetful, or take too much from someone without really realizing it. So I think we need to manage our own energy. We need to manage our own expectations. If we're going to be investing in the hope that a relationship will be a bit more stable and a bit more reciprocal, we need to do that a bit carefully and mindfully, and still take responsibility for the outcomes ourselves, because we can't control other people. We can influence other people a bit, but we can't control other people. We just need to choose carefully those things.
Just to add on to that, I don't think Beatrice meant to say that she expected things to come back to her. But it's just a matter of there are people who are abusive in terms of really getting things from you. And when you reach out to them for just normal help, support, can you help me do this and do that? And you feel that you are being abused, and that person just turned a deaf ear or a blind eye on whatever your requests are. And we do. I do see that pretty much often. And the thing is about if there's a red flag, it's really about in the conversations with this person, when you make simple requests to get some help, to help you get things done, how does that person respond to you? Or does that person respond with a smile when you're giving, and in other times just push you aside? So that's some kind of red flag to be aware of, and you don't need to be a victim of being abused just because you like to give.
Yeah, and it's absolutely I guess I'm speaking very generally, not speaking about one particular person, but just we can't control what other people do, but we can have warning signs, as you say, to be aware of what's going on in this relationship with this person, and being attuned to that, and it's about managing our energy and resources and how much we can give out, and finding where it flows and where it works and where it doesn't.
So the next question from Kathy is that are you finding organizations are increasing their focus on building positive cultures? So there's the typically paradox of getting results, as in business results, versus investing in nice to haves, as in being compassionate to others. The economic situation is not great in many sectors, so the short-term focus on business often takes priority. So I was curious on the views and experience.
Yeah, I'm finding people are wanting efficiency. People are wanting receptivity to feedback. Little like problem-solving sessions or requests to solve problems. But often the conversations lead to that it requires a more systemic approach. So for one company approached me and basically the issue was they wanted people to feel more willing to give and receive feedback. And this led to a big conversation about psychological safety and the cultural norms and the behaviors of the people. And the whole thing led to doing a more comprehensive personal development program in that company, so people would feel the confidence to speak up, also have the self-regulation to not overindulge their emotions when they're giving other people feedback. They also have a bit more of a collaborative mindset, that their ideas are not always going to be the idea that everyone goes ahead with. That they have to learn to go, okay, and I'm going to support this other person's idea that's been chosen. So I'm finding from my perspective, getting down to personal capacity development, so people can have the strength to do what's been expected of them. You can do a quick class on giving and receiving feedback. That doesn't mean you can do it. Doesn't mean you have the strength to do it, or the characteristics to be able to that are mature enough to be able to do those things, even though you might know it. So that's my answer.
I think there's also a similar question by Stella about how to balance between efficiency and mental resilience. This is a balance. And to that, I just want to add that there are times when an organization needs to be efficient, as in do the right things and get the right rate of responses, or doing a lot of things in a short amount of time in the right way, everyone standardized directions and just execute and implement. So there will be some phases that companies will need to do that. And at the same time, there will be times when we're living in an age where computers are getting more and more powerful, and what we as human beings can really bring to the table is our creativity, is our teamwork, and everything else could increasingly be outsourced to computers. So if we are done with the execution, the efficiency part, what about the times that we need to have new ideas to look into, what else that we can do to do a better job? What about the times that we need to get people find meaning in their jobs so that they become more committed and as a result more motivated? So it's a balance, and it's not a balance where you do 50% of this and 50% of that. It's a balance that at some point of time you will need to do A, and at some point of time you need to do B. And I was told by a pilot, airplane pilot, commercial pilot, that a pilot's job in some aspects, in a matter of minutes, the pilot will need to switch from getting responses, getting feedback from a host of different people, to one person making the call, making the decision, and telling people what to do. And they need to switch back and forth in a matter of minutes and in almost every flight. Right, so there's no one quick answer to that. It's just a matter of what modes we need to switch into.
Yes, yeah. I mean, context switching. Just being able to move from one mode to the next. There's the book, The Third Space, which talks about the little space between what we do, what we're doing, and what we're about to do. There's that little space in between it where we make a transition from one to the other. And it's good to be able to employ some mindfulness into that space. First of all, to be aware of that space in the first place. I had it when I was working as a counsellor. I used to move between the clinical building and the residential building. And whenever I opened the back door of the residential building, when I took my keys out of my pocket, they'd make a jingling sound. And for me, that just became this signal to just pause and reflect that I'm going from the clinical to the residential building. So I'm going from, academic, orderly, peaceful, quiet, highly regulated environment into this kind of much more random and wild place. And I'd just pause and I would set myself and get ready for that. And I'd make it so that once I go into that residential space, my whole attention was given to the first kid that I saw. Some kid bouncing a ball, looking lonely in the backyard or something. I wouldn't just go in with my folders under my arm and go and get a coffee and go upstairs to the manager's office. I'd always make sure that I was aware of the space I was going in. And as we switch context, people I've been working with in organizations, especially remote working, finding rituals and systems for moving between the home office to going into the broader household and playing with the kids. Sometimes people would change their shirt, or they wear a hat when they're working. They just do these little symbolic ritual things that help them to formalize the fact that they're in work mode or home mode. And this is a way that people can context switch and move between these different mindsets and different interactions.
Great. The one last question was just sent to me privately is, what does a compassionate leader look like? And my simple answer is, the compassionate leader just look like you and me. It's just a matter of choice. You want to be compassionate with people, right? So there's no one particular look. It's just you and me. So I think we have a round of thanks from different people. So from me and my team to Jamie, thank you for a very fantastic session. There was great interactivity. At one point of time, we've got 49 people on the call. It was fantastic. We hardly get that number of people with the little promotion that we have. So it was very insightful and very fantastic with the sharing.
Thanks so much. And look, CJ, thanks so much for this opportunity also to share, and everyone. Thanks for your questions. And it's great. Some of the questions challenged me also, and I just wrote it down, and that's an opportunity for me to learn. And, I think, what does a compassionate leader look like? It looks like a person who listens. That's what I think a compassionate leader looks like. Someone who actually pauses and listens. Is not just distracted and looking away and fast tracking everything so they can get their own little egocentric thing done, or preoccupied with themselves. A compassionate leader looks like someone who listens, and someone who's got time for you to pause and to hear what you've got to say, or to notice what you're experiencing. That would be my response to that one. Yeah. Right, Thank you so much, everyone. It's great to share this information with you and to hear your feedback. Yeah.
Right. Thank you all. And thanks for everyone for joining in. And Guess what? We just ran out of time, and it was a quick 1.5 hours to just go on like flash. Lots of nuggets, lots of useful information and insights. And we hope to get Jamie up and have more sharing with us in the near future. And we also like everybody to join us in our future events as well. Okay, thank you all, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye.